Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you some comics news, reveal the books I bought this week, and, if I screw up, a blooper reel. Happy New Year, y'all! I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Show. Now kick that logo! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Coming to you from Southern Realms Comics and Games here in Ruston, Louisiana. And Happy New Year, everyone. We are finally in the year 2018. This is the first episode of 2018. While I'm thinking about it, before I got up here, I was checking YouTube to see how many views I had for episode 196, which is the previous episode, and I only saw that there were only 6 views. Now, I'm not upset about it. If I was upset about it, I wouldn't be doing this show anymore. But I'm not. Because it's not the views per se. I just enjoy doing it. And I want to share my enjoyment to everyone all over the world. Well, really throughout the solar system and beyond. But it's 2018. Now, let me drop a little knowledge on you that my pastor dropped on us on New Year's Eve at church. Instead of having New Year's resolutions, you should have a New Year's revelation. I mean, if there's something that you're really not doing with your life that you should be, you should do it. I mean, if you're not living right, you should live right. If you're not eating right, you should eat right, me included. But yeah, get yourself a New Year's revelation. All right then, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. All right, last week's episode, I said name at least 5 characters who are redheads in the Marvel Universe. Now, there are quite a few of them. You could have said Mary Jane Watson, Jean Grey, Typhoid Mary, Daredevil, bless you, James, Medusa, Madeline Pryor, Rachel Gray. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. But 7 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their names have been entered in the drawing for a free tee, and that drawing takes place right now. So, the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Jake Young for Springfield, Missouri. So congratulations, Jake. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. All right, here's the question for next week's episode, and this one is an Iron Man question. Now, before I ask this question, you're going to have to think very carefully about your answer. Very carefully. You don't rely on what you know, because what you know could be wrong. True or false? In the comics, Tony Stark recently found out that he was adopted by Howard and Maria Stark. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee in next week's episode of the show. Now, D'Angelo Ballou for Warren, Ohio, and I tell you, he ceases to amazes me with his fight request. He's requested a fight. It is fire, fire, and more fire. Representing Marvel, we have the Human Torch. And representing Killer Instinct, we have Cinder. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
The Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today it's the Human Torch versus Cinder. The Human Torch possesses pyrokinesis, a fiery form that enables flight and serves as a damage shield, heat energy absorption, and resistance to extreme heat. Cinder possesses superhuman physical characteristics, fire manipulation, flight, martial arts, and invisibility. Who will win? Cinder will try to end the fight quickly by going invisible and attempting a sneak attack on the Human Torch. This proves to be unsuccessful because the Human Torch can also sense the body heat of others. The Human Torch delivers a judo throw to Cinder. this suddenly becomes a martial arts fight. The two would deliver a series of punches and kicks on each other for minutes on end. While this is happening, the Human Torch slowly absorbs Cinder's firepower. Unfortunately for Cinder, he also loses his superhuman physical powers. Torch would then end the fight with a lethal heart punch. The Human Torch wins. And that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed that fight. If you have fight requests for future episodes, contact info is down there. Alright then, it's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, now this segment of Comically Speaking is going to be all Star Wars. And there's two things we're going to talk about. The first thing is the possibility of a Star Wars Episode 8.5 coming to DVD around the time that Star Wars The Last Jedi comes out on DVD. Now, whenever a certain movie company wants to come out with a 0.5, usually the scenes that the 0.5 usually serves as a cutting room floor for the movie. They did the same thing with Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2. And when I mean that, I mean the movies that were directed by Sam Raimi, that starred Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, and J.K. Simmons. They did this when they come with point number movies. They came out with extra scenes that didn't exactly make the final cut for the movie. And I think they're doing the same now. Disney, I think, when they filmed Star Wars, they came out with some extra scenes. And I think some of them are going to be cutting room floor scenes that are going to explain a lot of stuff about the movies that some folks are really set off by. I mean, me personally, I thought the movie was good. Like I said, I don't think it holds. I don't think it holds a candle to Star Wars, to A New Hope, the Empire Strikes Back, and The Return of the Jedi from 77, 80, and 83. But at the same time, I think it's going. But I honestly can't wait to see it, because I would love to see some of these scenes that didn't exactly make the final cut.
I got some money.
All right, the second thing I want to talk about. Last night, I went to go see the Greatest Showman. That's a great movie. Not talking about The Greatest Showman. Although I'll say this: if you haven't seen that movie, go out and see it. But while I was waiting in line to purchase my ticket for that movie, I saw a poster, and it's a poster that kind of caused me to raise an eyebrow, and then I started to crack the smile. And that poster said Solo, a Star Wars movie, Star Wars story. And that's supposed to be coming out in theaters sometime late May, late spring, early summer. And you know, it's quite obvious that it's going to be talking about, you know, Han Solo, about him growing, about him growing up and eventually becoming, becoming what the character Harrison Ford brilliantly played in the four movies that he was in. The New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and then the Force Awakens. And I honestly can't wait to see it, because anyone that knows me knows I love some Star Wars. I don't know if it's going to be as good as Rogue One. It might just be better. It all depends on who's writing it, who's directing it, and who's being casted to play Han Solo. Now I always knew that this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen after The Force Awakens, and rightfully so. And honestly, when it comes out, I can't wait to see it. So yeah. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now then, let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All All right, I'm not going to give a brief description of each book. I'm just going to let you know what they are. All right, first up is Green Lanterns number 38. A new book that just came out, Batman the Signal number 1. Spider-Man number 236.
I'm gonna dive in. Dive in. Where are you?
Batman White Knight number 4.
Do not. Hey.
Superman number 38. And finally, Cyborg number 20. All right, that's 6 I bought, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 8,412. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, the first episode of 2018. And here's the question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. True or false? In the comics, Tony Stark recently found out that he was adopted by Howard and Maria Stark. Everyone who answers correctly will be in the drawing for a free tee in next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Jake Young from Springfield, Missouri, who won a free tee in this week's episode. All right, it's birthday time here on the Comic Hero Show, and happy birthday to Megan Shelton, Allison Freelou, Nate Nasworthy, Sean O'Pry, Randy Windsor, Daniel Hale, Carlos Willis, Sonia Burns, Melvin Goodson, Crystal Nugent, Mallory Sanchez, Ricky Ross, Jermaine Williams, Kimmy Dowdy, Linda Ferguson, Rhiannon Bracken, Tamika Adams, and comics writer and inker Carl Kessel. All right, first episode of 2018. All right, now that that's out of the way, really looking forward to the next episode. Next episode, I'm going to be wearing a tee based on the university who wins the national championship game this coming Monday. So if you're watching this and you're an Alabama fan or Georgia fan, good luck to both of y'all. This is something I've been doing since really since the 2015/2016. I started doing it 2 years ago when Alabama won the national championship, and I did it last year when Clemson won. And this is my third year, and either I'm going to be wearing an Alabama-themed Comic Hero tee or a Georgia-themed Comic Hero tee. Then, really looking forward to the 200th episode of the show. I just thank God for, the 4+ years that I've been doing, or the 4 years and some months that I've been doing this episode. Doing this show. There's still a lot of folks that don't know about it. For right now, I just want to thank all my viewers I have so far, and I also want to thank the viewers I'm going to get. You see, that's the thing, folks. You have to speak things, even though they're not, even though they haven't happened yet, or they're not happening now. You have to speak them as if they have, because if you do, I can guarantee you that they will happen.
Yes.
I like I said, I want to thank all the viewers that I'm going to get. I also want to thank all the viewers I have right now. There have been folks that have been watching it since day one, and yeah. What a time for me to do this show, and what a time for you to watch this show. Things are only getting better.
Oh, watch out, buddy.
Oh no! You all right, JJ?
Right.
JJ. Folks.
Right.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 198, right back here at Southern Realms Comics and Games. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and Happy New Year, everyone.